Are you planning to come to Canada on a visit visa and you are wondering how much you need to show for proof of funds? Then you need to watch this video to the end, as I'm going to explain to you how to calculate what you need and what you need to do about it. I get this question so many times. On a daily basis, I have over 20-30 people asking me, oh, how much do I need to have in my account if I want to visit Canada? It's so easy to calculate. So I think there are three major things that you need to consider when you are coming to Canada. There are other things, but at least these are three key things that if you take those things into consideration, you should be fine. So the first thing is go and check how much is the ticket to Canada for the period that you are coming to Canada. Even if you want to check the ticket for that period, you can always check online and just check any date and have an idea of what the ticket price is. In fact, if you can even do a dummy ticket, dummy, I'm not saying you pay, don't go and pay for it. If you pay, there are some airlines that allow you to, you're able to go on their websites, fill your travel dates, and they send a copy of, more like a draft copy of the ticket and the price. They can send it to you. You might, if you have that, you might be able to add that to your application. Or if you can add it to it, at least that will give you an idea of the cost of the tickets. So just check, what is the cost of the tickets for me that I will use to come to Canada? And it's not just one way. If you are planning to get a visitor visa, the ticket you're going to check has to be two-way, because I doubt if any airline will carry you if you don't have a return ticket to your country of origin. And if they carry you and you get to the point of entry and the border officers ask you about your ticket and you cannot show your return ticket, if you're not careful, they might return you back to your country of origin. So use online airline checks to see the price of the tickets for the period you're traveling, or for any period, just for you to have an idea. Write down. So I'm going to use an estimate. Let's assume that, let me use Nigeria as an example. If you are coming from Nigeria, let me take it now that the tickets from Nigeria to Canada, to and fro, maybe 2,000 Canadian dollars. I'm just giving an estimate. It can be cheaper than that, it can be more than that, and you know that ticket prices fluctuate depending on the season and the period you are buying. So you have to take this into consideration. So if you buy towards December period, these tickets, the economy ticket can be as high as 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. I can tell you that. So, but use the average one. Use the average one, normal price. You can use that, at least just for you to have an idea. So ticket is sorted, right? So the next thing that you have to consider is, how long am I spending in Canada? That is important, because the length of your stay in Canada will determine how much you will need while you are in Canada. So for example, if you are going to spend 2 weeks in Canada, you are likely not going to spend as much as someone else who wants to spend 2 months in Canada. 2 months in Canada, 2 months in Canada would cost you much more than when you are coming here to spend just 2 weeks. So be careful. If you are going to spend 2 weeks, how much is your stay for that 2 weeks? So hotel stay, you're going to stay in an hotel. Just assume that you're going to stay in an hotel. If you're going to stay in an hotel, go online. There are so many online machines, online booking platforms that you can use to check the price of the hotels that you will stay. So look at it. If you are coming, are you coming to Toronto? Are you coming to Alberta? Are you coming to British Columbia? Anywhere you're coming to, check. I always tell people that you can use $100 per day. You will get some hotels that are cheaper than $100 per day. I can tell you that, and you get some that are much expensive than that. So if you can use $100 per day to calculate it, this is just to give you an idea. So $100 per day. If you are spending 2 weeks, $100 per day for 14 days is $1,400. And remember that before we had talked about you using getting a ticket of $2,000. So you are spending 2 weeks. Hotel bill for 2 weeks is $1,400 for the 2 weeks. So that's a total of $3,400. Now, accommodation most times would not include feeding and miscellaneous expenses. What are miscellaneous expenses? You're going to shop, obviously shopping fee is different from that. You want to take taxis, you want to take Uber, you want to take a bus, you want to buy ticket and all of that. Those are still expenses that you're going to incur when you're in Canada. So the third one you have to consider right now is your feeding expenses. Feeding expenses for 2 weeks. I assume that I want to assume that you spend $50 per day. It can be more than this. I can tell you that. I'm just trying to be minimal. You might spend, if you eat 3 times a day in Canada, you spend more than $50 per day. I can tell you that. But let me assume you're eating twice a day, and it's like $25 per meal, and that's what I'm using to calculate that. So $50 a day for 14 days. That's $350 for 1 week. That's about $700 for 2 weeks. So if you now add $2,000 for tickets, $1,004 for accommodation, $700 for feeding for 2 weeks. That is 2,000 plus 1,400, that's 3,400 plus 700, that is 4,100. Now 4,100 is sure that you need to spend for 2 weeks. Now there are other expenses that will fall under miscellaneous expenses. So let's add that to be, let's say that can be $500. 4,100 plus $500 is about $4,600. At the end of the day, you are going to need about $4,600 minimum. Now, that is not what should be in your account. You should have much more than that, because you can't use all the money you have in your account to travel to Canada and not have anything to come back to. You know, when visa officers assess your application and they see that, oh, you are working, you are spending all your money on travel, what are you going to come back to? That's a sign to show them that you're not going to come back. So you want to ensure that you have much more than that minimum in your account before you apply. If you have anything less than that minimum, the likelihood that your visa will be refused is very high. So for those that have family members in Canada, the cost of accommodation and cost of feeding might be removed from your expenses. Yeah, because one, your family member is like going to feed you. You're not going to pay for accommodation because it's expected that you will stay with your family member when you're in Canada. So that would really help you that will help you reduce how much you need to show if you have families, friends in Canada who can accommodate you and take care of your feeding. And don't forget, if your family members will be accommodating you and taking care of you while you are there, they need to write ahead and have that document and state it there that they're providing you accommodation. They will take care of feeding while you are here, so that will not be an issue for you at all. Without writing that might be a big issue. So if you have learned anything from this video and you have friends or family members who plan to come to Canada, kindly share this video with them so that they will understand what they need to do when they are applying for a visa.